This is Excel 2016, Module 9, Part 7. In this section, we're going to be looking at the balance sheet worksheet and the cash flow worksheet. We're going to be auditing those worksheets, trying to locate the errors and correct them. We're going to be finalizing our workbook for the QR company. So let's go ahead and get into our QR workbook. You can see when you click on the balance sheet worksheet that there are error messages in many of the cells. And if you look at the cash flow, you can see if you scroll down that there are also arrows there. So we need to figure out what's causing all of these errors. So let's go ahead and click on F9, and we're going to come in to our Formulas tab and look for Formula Auditing. Click the drop down next to Error Checking. You're going to choose Trace the Error. And you'll notice it says, okay, it started here. I don't see a problem with that formula. There's not a problem with this one. So then I'm going to click on the arrow. When I double click on that arrow, it gives me a cell reference on another worksheet where this is continuing. So I'm going to click on that cell reference and I'm going to say OK. And it's going to bring me over here. So again, I need to trace the error. So I'm going to click on the drop-down list, choose Trace the Error. And you can see, all right, it started here, and I can check each formula, saying they all look fine. And then I come to this one, and finally I come to this one. This is the last formula, and you can see, if you look carefully, that there's an extra M in the word sum. So I am going to click on that formula and delete an M. And when I do that, you can see it fixed all of the formulas here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the arrows. I don't want to leave those there. So I'm going to click Remove Arrows. Then I'm going to go over to my balance sheet, and you can see again it removed the errors and it fixed them. So that one problem was causing all of those formula errors, throughout your entire worksheet. So again, we're going to remove arrows. Now, another way we can look at the relationships in the cells is by evaluating the formulas. So let's scroll down to F34. We have this formula here for total liabilities and equity. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to click this option here that says to evaluate the formula. So what it does now is it shows me every cell that is being used. So if I step in, it says I'm taking the value in this cell, and it starts showing me where it's building it. Step out and step in. And it goes through and it looks for any problems. Step out, step in, evaluate, step in, And you can see what it's doing. It's pulling in the answers from the various places and showing you where that number is coming from. So you can close that. And the last thing we're going to look at is something called the watch window. So for this, we're going to go over to the income statement. Then I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top of the sheet where I can see my assumed tax rate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this option that's on my Formulas tab in the Formula Auditing group, and it's to create a watch window. So you'll see what happens in a moment. We're going to create this watch window, and we're going to add a watch. It wants to know what cell you want to put a watch on. So I am going to scroll all the way down, and I am going to put a watch on maybe I want to see my after-tax profit. Maybe I want to do another watch, and I want to see over on another worksheet. I'm going to go over to the balance sheet, and I'm going to look at F36, the net worth. And maybe I want to do yet another watch, and I want to see over on my cash flow statement my ending cash balance in 523. So it creates this little window. Whoops, where did it? There it goes. Okay, I don't want it that big. You can have it that big, so you can size it. Okay. Now, what I can do is I can make a change. So let's say I decided that we're not going to be at a 32% tax rate. We're going to be at a 38%. So now when I make that change, I can see what the impact of that change had on all three of those numbers. If I said my cost of goods and sold and marketing is going to go up to 25%, I could see what that is. And I could see, boy, that's going to have a huge impact on my cash flow. That's a problem. So you'd have to see how comfortable you were with some of these options. My percent of research and development. If I said, you know what, maybe I could get that to go down to 10%. Now you can see what the impact of that is. So you can put in your watch items that are on the same worksheet but are located in a place where you can't see them. And then you can also put in there items that are on other worksheets that are impacted by formulas. So we're going to change these back to 13 and 32. So if you're done using the watch window, you can close it. You can also delete items out of it if you're going to use them again. So I would usually delete the watch, and then when it was empty, close it. So those are some of the techniques that you can use to help you debug your formulas, and also to watch the change of different percentages and things and how it affects your other answers that you can't necessarily see in the same spot that you're making those changes. So that concludes Module 9. So I'm going to save my work, and we'll see you back for Access videos.